Now for gang stalking, this is a question people should be asking, okay? Is it possible? That's the main question here. Is it possible? Okay, not what you think, or you don't think that people would do that, or it's not what you think, okay, or you don't think people would do that, or I'm sure that wouldn't happen, so therefore it didn't happen. That doesn't make any sense. The first questions should be, right off the bat, is it possible? Okay, when you go to a magician's act, okay, and you see a magician on stage, do you go there watching, thinking that someone perfected a talent that they've done their whole life from a little kid? Okay, and that there's a strategy and that they use their technique and strategy to happen? Or do you just sit there thinking that the guy made a yacht disappear? Okay, it just completely vanished off stage. What do you think's more likely, okay? Did he really make a yacht disappear? Or is it that you're watching a magician? Okay, so the fact is, we want to ask the simple questions and start off with that, is that what everyone should be asking is, number one, is it possible? Okay, it doesn't matter what you think, or what your mama told you, or what your dad thinks, okay, or what your doctor thinks, or your theories of what you think or what you think people do. That doesn't matter. What I'm saying is it possible? That's the really only concern that we need, that should be even talked about. Number one, is it possible? Okay, and if you can answer yes to that, then we move on to number two. If you take what the person says, like my story for instance, and I can't speak for everyone and their experience, and remember, the whole point of it is to mimic some sort of a mental disorder, okay? So, of course, when you tell a doctor or someone else, they're going to automatically maybe have some questions and think that this doesn't make any sense, but that's the point of it. Okay, so remember that. So we want to start off with reality, true questions, easy questions. Is it possible? Number one. If the answer is yes to that, you move to the next question. Take what the person said, like what I said. If you watch my full video, my almost 2-hour video from the beginning to end, I show you the strategies that are laid out. Take that strategy and apply it. If you take what they said and apply it in a real life scenario, would it work? Okay? Would what that person said, if you apply it in a real life scenario, would it work? Okay? Would it be possible to do it? What would happen to the person if you did do that? And you would see that it would work, and that it would make perfect sense, and that person, no one would believe what that person was saying, and that it was so extravagant and so over the top, just like a magician's act, is that they're going to automatically dismiss it. When the reality is that for someone who's not thinking clearly, you're not, again, like I've mentioned this before, you don't get order out of chaos. Okay, so you want to look to separate the difference between if it really happened or not, is take what the person said and apply it in a real life scenario. For someone who's not thinking clearly, what they're saying is not going to make sense. You wouldn't be able to apply it in a real life scenario. So that's the way to separate it from, well, can you do it? Could you do it? If the answer is no, if it's completely fabricated and there's no backing to it whatsoever, then you might want to question it. But when you take someone's strategy and you say, apply it in a real life scenario, if it works, then that's kind of odd there. What you're saying is, then by default, what you're saying is that you're saying it's possible, you're saying that it would work, that it would make sense, you could apply it in a real life scenario, then that means by default what you're saying, what a doctor or anyone else is saying, is that this person has created the most elaborate, orchestrated, over-the-top plan of sabotage of the history of mankind, okay, on the face of the planet, out of the thin blue air, out of a figment of their imagination, or it really happened. Which one do you think makes more sense?